Okay, hello. Um, yeah, this is things are beginning to happen. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about. This is a weird angle. I don't like this. Um, let's just go here. You can go here. I think this is a better angle. Um, okay. So again, if you watched any of the previous videos, which no one has, let's be honest, you would know I got kicked out of my house, out of my mum's house, about 2 months ago on September 7th. It has three months ago, 2 months, 2.5 months ago. Um, it has been a hell of a fucking ride since then. Um, and at some point, she was like, "Oh, you can come back," and I thought to myself, what type of person would I be if I came back to a place that kicked me out? So I stuck to it. I stuck to being in this weird land of complete uncertainty. And by the way, that wasn't the only thing happening, like mentally to me too. There was also another pretty big one, relationship based, I won't talk too much about. But yeah, so there was those two, and that completely like ah um but yeah, all I knew is I'm gonna stick this through. I don't know what's happening, but I am going to see this through. I'm going to build a future for myself. And I fucking locked in. I was incredible. It is incredible. Like holy shit. And it's just a beginning. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about that right now. That might be for another video where I'll probably explain everything. Um, for now, I want to talk about uh, this is a fun little thing that's been happening to me recently. Now that I've slowly kind of gotten more stable, even though I am, moving houses tomorrow, and then I'll be starting a new full-time job in December. I'm finally entering a more stable configuration now. But like, because I know where I'm gonna live. I have a job. I like things are like calming down. Things are like returning to a normal life. Not normal, but a life that isn't completely bombarded by uncertainty, and you don't know what the fuck's happening the next day, and your entire life trajectory might look completely different every single day. For like 2 months, that's what it felt like. Right, about like 3 to 5 different things every week that could happen that would completely alter what trajectory my life is going, and I just had to run towards all of those at full speed and go for the most promising option, right? That's basically what I had to do. I had to initiate, I had to create my own opportunities. And really, knowledge is just at the basis of it. Knowledge and executing on that knowledge are the two important things you need in life if you want to do anything. Um, but yeah, I guess okay. Now that I've now that that's happening and I've slowly been like, you know, calming down a bit, I think my nervous system is actually responding to that. So I must have been in like survival mode, like task, action, task, survive, 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 for like the 2 months, right? Because well, obviously I was processing, shit, but it was all in the background, and for a lot of it, I was just like, lock in, you have to go, push, push, push. But now it's sort of weird. I think I'm okay now, but like the past week has been surprisingly melancholic and like reflective and introspective and kind of sad. And I wasn't expecting that because like maybe thoughts or thoughts and feelings kind of bubbled up that I wasn't aware I still had, and I got to sit with them and actually process them properly now that I had a bit of time. I'm probably gonna do that more at my new place, but for a little bit, just to like properly process everything. But it's just yeah, like things. I mean, like my body is slowly beginning to actually bring those thoughts up and process them, um, which I find interesting. And I search this up, and apparently that's a thing that happens after you exit survival mode. You kind of have this rebound of all the emotional processing you needed to do back then. It's like slowly comes out here, and you just need to make sure you uh, adapt well to that and understand it's temporary. Like it's fine, right? Like some days, like on I think this Tuesday, I felt really sad, and I knew like, oh, I know why. Like there's certain thoughts coming over my head. Um, but I knew once I go to sleep and wake up, it's a dice roll on the emotional regulation, and I'll be completely fine tomorrow, basically. And I was. So, yeah. And I know this is like a temporary thing, but I do have to make sure that, because I had a lot of urgency in survival mode, so I was getting a lot of stuff done. I just have to make sure I keep that for the future, but maybe convert it to a different type of fuel, but still use that. I just have to make sure I know what I'm doing. Actually, another thing that was popped up, that started popping up, is recently, once I've exited that mode, I've actually been seeing some old habits resurface a little. But now that I'm, much more introspective and I actually have the ability to, I have the time and energy to choose, I can sort of, I see an old habit pop up, and I can decide, like, do I actually still want to keep this? Or do I want to change? I don't want to keep this. So, and for a lot of, like, a fair few of them, I actually don't want to. So I'm going to change them. Right, and I can do that because I have complete control over my routine at this point, barring, work. So yeah, that's one thing. And also the other thing I wanted to talk about was associations, because I realized I might actually have a bit of a response to associations of the past. And I'm being very intentional with how I do things at my new place. I'm going to set like furniture up in a different orientation. I'm going to ensure that I have as minimal old habits from my old places coming to the new place as possible, because I feel like any association can sort of make you, like, the neuron firing habits in your brain literally will say, if you hear someone's voice from like ages ago, that sort of reminds you of a period of your life, it'll start thinking it's in that same position. And that and I really don't want to feel like I'm in the same position anymore, not like that. No, no, thank you. So, for instance, when I sit down, this is a really big association thing of mine. Not necessarily related to that, but just a really big thing, and I don't like it. I'm gonna get a standing desk. I'm gonna try it out. I think it'll be really cool because low-key, my thinking capacity expands by like 50% when I'm just walking. Um, so yeah, that'll be cool. And it also lets me build a completely new system in my head, a new environment, because I've never had a standing desk before. This is a completely new um, spatial configuration for me. So I get to build the habits there from the ground up. And also, say, for Chrome, for instance, and even my desktop and everything. Since I want to build these habits from scratch again, I will change all the UIs of this. I will make it look different, so that I have the distance between me and that old Markov chain. I'm gonna just speak about this like this because I think the Markov chains and Markov decision processes are a really good way of illustrating like habits, basically. Like, the distance between me and that old Markov chain separates, right? It's further apart, so I can build my own stuff here without this kind of like like accidentally integrating into my system. And since it's further away, I can sort of more intentionally choose. Yeah, even, but I'm being really intentional with this, maybe a bit too much, and maybe a bit paranoid too. Even to the point where my bed base that I'm gonna buy once I move into the new place, the bed frame, is going to be a different style versus the one I had at my old house, which honestly was perfectly fine. It was either between that one and something else. I chose something else. And the main difference, honestly, was just because I didn't want to be reminded of the old house. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with this. Choosing I think choosing it is fine. I think choosing to build your own environment so that you can build new habits, so that you can build a new life, is a fine decision to make after you've been through a rough period, as we will call it. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna go have breakfast now. Um, Doodles.